So I've struggled figuring out what my value is. Like, what am I good at? What do I really contribute? And I know I'm a fine trainer, strength coach.
I want you to use the grip where you feel your triceps more.
Getting better at business. I'm getting better at parenting. I'm figuring out fatherhood, like how to be a dad.
I need a buckled up.
You need buckled up. But like, where's my skill? Like, what do I really know? What is my value to the world? It's been very tricky. I know that I have value, and I know that my friends and loved ones really appreciate me. But why? I was listening to this podcast, and this idea was presented, and it was the first time that I've ever really heard of this idea. I've heard the word before, but the idea stopped me in my tracks. It was this idea of agency. Agency is this idea of personal autonomy. And that resonates with me more than anything because it's so unique. So we have this ability as human beings to direct our intent into the world and create the world around us. And it requires going against the grain or creative thought or expression or a willingness to try, a willingness to give something a shot and see if it'll work. And through doing that, through giving it a shot and seeing if it'll work, we can create incredible things. We can start businesses. We can start movements. We can build giant buildings. We can create ripples that last beyond lifetimes, beyond generations. How crazy is that? And this idea of agency, it was represented a few different ways because it is really difficult to identify, or it's very hard to describe. I mean, you can tell just from me talking about this right now, but you kind of know it when you see it. There was a few different examples given of what agency looks like when you see it. One was this drawing. It was a meme, and it was two identical people stuck on an island, same circumstances, the same tree, coconuts. There wasn't much more to it. There was a tree and maybe some palm leaves and some coconuts. But in one example, you see the person took the tree apart, took the leaves down, and made a giant sign for help. On the other side, the person took the tree down, the palms, the leaves, and built a boat to exit the island. This is an example of agency. In a second example, this was a photo from Nazi Germany, and it was a sea of Nazis all saluting Hitler. And then there was one person, there was a red line drawn around this one incredible individual who, while everyone else is saluting, this person crossing their arms very clearly, defying all of the other soldiers, all of the other Nazis. This is agency. And then there was another example, which is basically an anti-agency, which was a study that they did on unknowing participants who thought that they were applying for a job. Now, they would bring them into a room, and in the room there was 10 seats. 3 of those seats were occupied by actors. Now, the people in the study, they were not aware that they were actors. The actors were given the instructions that when a bell rings to stand up, when the bell rings, they would sit back down. So when they would bring in a new participant, and they didn't know what was going on, they weren't given any instructions. A bell would ring, they would stand up, the actors. Bell would ring, they would sit down, and you could see that people kind of wanted to fit in. They wanted to do what everyone else was doing. So they'd bring in person after person. More people would start following the leader, following the actors, and stand up and sit down whenever the bell happened. They didn't know why. They weren't given any instruction that that's what they were supposed to be doing. But they would follow the lead. And then once they filled out all 10 seats with new people was when they removed the 3 actors. So now at this point, it's just people following the pattern of what was presented before them with no realization of why they were doing it in the first place, or why they even, which isn't that an example for why we do a lot of things? We don't know why we do a lot of things. We just know that that's what we are supposed to be doing because that's what we've been doing for so long. And I mean, therein lies, I think, the skill and the thing that gets me so excited. This is what I think I am drawn to. I want to help people discover the agency inside of them. I want people to know what they're capable of. I want people to feel their own power because they all have it. We all have it. We all have this amazing ability inside of us to create a world that's better than when we came into it. I think that's what we all want. I always said in the gym to our trainers, our staff, like, make the gym better when you're in it than if you weren't there. Always leave the gym better than how you found it or how you came into it. I think this idea connects with all of us because I think it's what we all want. We're here for a limited time. None of us are here forever, or no one's been here forever yet. So if we're only here for a limited time and we don't get to take anything with us, then the most powerful thing that we can do is to make the world better when we came into it. And the only way that we can make it better, to really contribute, to look at it objectively, honestly, and say, what do I have in me that can make this world a better place? What can I do to leave it better than I found it? Then you have to implement agency. You have to have personal autonomy, an ability, a willingness to take a risk, make an assessment, see what you could contribute that would make the world better, and then take action on it. Training has always been this thing for me. Fitness has always been this thing for me. This is why it's part of my life. This is why I've dedicated so much of my time and my effort and my life to it. Because the more that I put into training, the more I willingly sacrifice comfort, even temporarily, for a payoff that's not guaranteed, but at least proven. It's proven to me. It's not scientifically proven, but it's been proven in my life that it's always been worth it. It's always been better. Every time that I put effort or time into working out, into training, into that process, not for myself, but to give myself proof that actualizing the effort in a direction to make something better is worth, the juice is worth the squeeze. It's worth the effort. This idea of agency is all around us. And once you hear it, or at least this has been my case, once I've heard it, I've not been able to unlearn it. I'm thinking about it all the time. And I hope you do too. And I really hope that I can find ways to improve people's agency in their own lives, in their own families, in their own communities. It's my hope. So I'm going to keep doing it. Thinks you might enjoy it. But that's been my idea for the day. See you in that video.